Yeah, nice. Nice. Yeah, okay, cool. All right. Whenever you're ready. Nice.
Nice.
Man, this is just like, there was such a climax leading up to this, and
Yeah.
now I don't know
All the setup.
what to say. Yeah, the setup. So
Yeah.
for anyone who's watching on Instagram right now, we're on Facebook Live too. So go ahead and check on Facebook Live because the video will be saved there, and we'll leave some show notes at the bottom of that. We'll also add some bonuses too, some little tidbits and takeaways from my talk with Brian. So make sure you check it out there, facebook.com/Daniel DiPiazza page, and like that page while you're there too. Thank you. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna start doing a new intro for the podcast. So what I think would be cool is if I want to say the episode number first, right? Because I want to have a consistent lead in for the episode.
Yeah.
So this is episode 26. And I think what we'll do is I'll be like, hey guys, this is the Rich20something podcast, episode 26, here with Brian Evan. Say hello, Brian. And you'll be like, hey, what's up? I'm Brian, CEO of Influencive. Can't wait to talk to you. And then the theme music rolls, which you won't hear. And then we'll get into it.
Yeah.
Because I think with podcasts, it's really useful if like within the first 10 seconds you say something that hooks them.
Yeah.
Because people just run it through
Totally.
these things.
Yeah, absolutely.
So maybe like say like who you are and what you do, just so people can know if they want to listen to the episode.
Yeah.
And
For
then
sure.
we'll go into it.
For
But,
sure.
Like, keep it extra.
Yeah.
short. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What's up, hustlers? What's up, friends? Welcome to episode 26 of the Rich20something podcast. As you can see, as soon as I start an episode, my voice changes and gets very high. We're here today with my friend Brian Evans. He's going to talk to us about, well, I don't know. What do you talk to us about, Brian?
Man, we're going to talk about unconventional mindsets and how the system failed me and how it's failed so many people. And we're going to learn how to take advantage of that and how to take most advantage of your own way of doing things without following traditional paths.
Boom. I love it. Start the intro. All right, cool. So we can ease into it however we want. They're going to edit it. But dude, thank you for being here. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate it too. Yeah, thank you.
So
Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about, well, first of all, how was your day? How was your holiday? How were
Good,
your holidays?
man. Yeah, good holidays.
Anyone who's listening to this is December 2016. So whenever you're listening to it, that's why.
I've got a different take on holidays.
What do you mean?
You know, I celebrate holidays.
Right.
You know, I celebrate Christmas, celebrate New Year's, everything. But a lot of people slow down, and I mean, they slow down for the holidays. They take massive breaks and stuff like that. But look at us. It's the 30th. We're right in the middle of the holidays. We're doing stuff. We're going at it. And I think you can't. I think you speed up. You don't slow down. There's an opening.
Hell yeah.
There's an opening.
I wrote a post about this last year called the 30-day or what is it called? The 13-month year. And I take December as a piece of 2017.
Yeah.
You know, just like because it's really because the thing about the holidays is if you slow down at the holidays, it's not just December. Just like with anything, if you lose momentum going into January, it's going to be a slow January.
It sets the pace for the rest of the year.
Correct.
You know this from jiu-jitsu. We both do jiu-jitsu.
Uh-huh.
You start the fight off really slow and just lazy.
Wait, you do jiu-jitsu?
Yeah.
Wait, no. Back it up. I did know that or I didn't know that?
I think you knew that. I think we talked about it very briefly.
How long have you been training for?
About 6 years on and off.
The fuck? Are you serious? No, we didn't talk about this. I would have definitely made a mental note.
Yeah. Maybe we didn't.
You're purple now then.
Almost.
Dope.
Yeah.
What? What? I like you even more now, which I'm like already really liked you. When are we going to roll?
Yeah, soon,
Fuck,
man.
are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my God, can we roll today?
Sure.
What are you doing today? Can we roll? Oh my God.
I love jiu-jitsu. I think it's like a superpower. It's like it's one of the only, because here's the thing about jiu-jitsu too. It's like you can get into the striking martial arts and stuff, but you got to freaking kill somebody. Like if you crack someone in the face on the street, but like for jiu-jitsu to defend yourself, it's amazing because you can train with your friends too, and we're not going to kill each other.
You can go 100% without killing each other.
Exactly.
Yeah. The thing that, I like striking martial arts. I love Muay Thai. It's like really aggressive. I like it. It's really hard on your body though.
Yeah.
And then there's always, depending on what gym you go to, there's always a guy who's like, bro, if we were going 100%, if we were going 100.
Yeah, but you got to take the ego out of it.
Yeah, there's,
100%.
With jiu-jitsu, you really know where you stand.
Yeah, oh, totally.
Without hurting someone, you're like, oh, you got me.
Yeah, totally.
You know?
But it's like being an entrepreneur. You learn from everybody. It's like I love getting my ass kicked because I'm learning.
Yeah.
Same with being an entrepreneur. Failing, it's like learning a lesson. Yeah. I love failing. I love getting my ass kicked because you're learning something.
Totally.
If you beat me, it's like, okay, I didn't know that choke. Like, sure, now I'm going to learn something, just like being an entrepreneur.
I mean, and there's so many, there's no like correct way to
Right.
do something.
Just like an entrepreneur.
Yeah, it's just, and everyone, and also depending on what you're, like now between jiu-jitsu and entrepreneurship, it's kind of like drawing the corollary here, but like depending on what your body type is and what your habits are, you can do different things that people can't do.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
It's totally crazy. One of the cool things about jiu-jitsu is that you really get to see what the differences are in skill level.
Yes.
And how like time with consistency and practice, you're just gonna get better even if you don't think you're getting better.
Yeah.
Because I've only been training for about 2 years.
Okay.
And it's so funny that like someone who has 4 years of experience, even though it's only 4 years, is so much better than me. And there's not a lot I can do about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I could beast through you or whatever. But if you've been training consistently for 4 years, I've been training consistently for 2 years, there are obviously variables. I can still beat you, but it's just hard.
Right. Totally.
You know?
Absolutely. And I think too, it's one of those things like being an entrepreneur, the better and better you get, like you're saying, beast through you. Like the guys that I know that have trained me, like they don't use any strength, speed. They're just like, it's nothing to them because they're such a master at it that they can, it's like being in the Matrix.
Totally.
It's like being the one in the Matrix. You just see everything.
My professor Gustavo, I think he does his taxes when we roll. He's just like, like, I'll like try to think of, because I have a limited amount of like, I maybe have like 3 or 4 things from each position.
Yeah.
But after that, I don't have anything else that I can do to you. I don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
So I'll like run through my most complicated. I'm like, this is what I'm going to do. This and this, and he's already. It's just like chess, actually.
Yeah.
I just learned how to play.
It is. Yeah. But you got to stay with it. My problem has always been I'll be hard at it for 3 months, then I'll take a month off or 2 months off, and then you get back and you're slow, and it's like it's
discouraging too.
Yeah, you got to be consistent.
Have you seen that meme with I don't know? There's this show. What year were you born?
84.
Okay, 84. So I was born 88. There's a show. I don't remember what it was called. It wasn't Biker Mice from Mars. It was this one show with like these sharks, these like anthropomorphic sharks. And they were like on the street and they were like gangsters, but they were big, great white sharks. Anyway, and there's this like cartoon or this meme of them, and they're all standing like this with their like their fins or their arms crossed, and with their mouths open with blood dripping down. And the meme is like how your friends greet you when you come from a 3-month break from jiu-jitsu, because like you're always gonna get crushed.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
So this is interesting. So we'll talk more about that later before half of the viewers kill themselves.
For sure. Yeah.
But talk to us a little bit about who you are and just give people a breakdown of why you've been able to do some of these cool things over the last couple of years, and just talk to us about who you are for someone who doesn't know you, and just like the 30-second elevator pitch.
So I've been an entrepreneur since I was 16. I started off as completely accidental. I had a business on eBay. I was selling car parts. And when I was 18 and a half, someone came to me and they said, "Hey, we want to buy your business." And I was like, "Oh, okay. All right." I didn't see myself as an entrepreneur, so I sold it.
Why not?
And that got me into the world of like realizing I was an entrepreneur. And I went down a lot of different paths of learning how to get traffic online, and eventually led to me being an Inc. 500 entrepreneur, building a big platform, Influencive, millions of readers, and building big marketing companies and agencies. And
just like that. Yeah, it was an accident. I started this thing.
But here's the interesting thing. It's a lot of things that I've done today. It's like that 16 years. I'm 32 today. I started when I was 16.
Holy shit.
It took that. It was that 16 years of up and down. It was fail, success, fail, success, over and over again.
Yeah.
And learning those things from all those failures was a big part of it for me. But also being unconventional about it, because the school system failed me, man.
The school system failed you?
Dude, I was left-handed. They took the pen. They took the pencil out of my hand and put it in my right hand. From day one.
It's failing a lot of us.
From day one, it was like, no,
they didn't. You're ambidextrous now.
I am.
So they didn't fail you.
Yes.
They improved your ass.
Yes, exactly. Well, but that's what I'm saying. That gave me that entrepreneur's mindset of like, I got to figure stuff out for myself. I got to learn how I learn. I got to figure things out differently. So that put me down that entrepreneurial path of, okay, you're gonna have to go into this life very unconventionally.
Do you think the entrepreneurship is the only path to like having a creative and fulfilling life?
I don't think so. I think you can do whatever you want. You can have a 9-to-5 doing taxes, and that can be a fulfilling life for you. I think it's all about what purpose you're here for, why you're here. And each of us have a different one. We're entrepreneurs, but somebody else doesn't have to be to have a fulfilling life. I think you can do anything and have a fulfilling life if you truly are doing that for the right reasons, and that's your passion and your purpose.
You're totally right, and I think also, the whole thing with passion that I've found is that people are, there's almost like, I'm gonna coin a phrase on this. I don't know what the correct term is, but it's like passion constipation, or like squeezing so hard trying to find what our passion is, and nothing comes out.
Yes, but that's the thing. People look for this is the thing. People say like, I'm trying to find my passion, right? Where are you gonna find it? Under your pillow? Like you're not gonna find it. But here's the thing. It's not out there.
It's not
here.
lost.
It's not out there. It's in here.
Yeah.
So it's realizing who you are. You know who you are. I know who I am. You know, when you know who you are, that's the passion. You have the passion. You're not looking for it under the pillow, under the mattress. There's no finding it. You're not gonna find it. So it's like, you know, the pursuit of happiness. Like you know, it's not about going out and finding it. It's about realizing it's already there and what it is.
I mean, and really what I think what you're saying, what I'm hearing is like, it's not useful for you to look externally for an internal thing.
Exactly.
You know?
Totally.
Like, oh, I'm going to like Google what my passion could be. Like,
totally.
What are, you know,
or ask your friends,
jobs.
like,
what's my passion?
What's my passion? Like, they're not gonna know. You know.
We've really McDonaldized that word though.
Yeah.
We've McDonaldized a lot of words. We've McDonaldized passion, value.
Yeah.
What else have we McDonaldized?
Passion, value. I mean, even hustle.
Hustle.
To an extent.
I was just about to say grind.
Work harder, work smarter.
It's not always about grinding. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not.
And I think our generation, you know, millennial in general, gets the bad rep, the bad end of the stick.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you have a lot of people saying that, you know, you were entitled and all these kind of things because of untraditional, different mindsets of our parents' generation.
I did a whole talk about that last year about how, let me turn this phone on airplane mode or silent or whatever. I did a whole talk about that last year about how most people tend to think that millennials are entitled, but we don't feel like that.
No,
you know,
I don't feel entitled
because we're I guess we're very biased, obviously.
Totally.
but yeah, I mean, and I think probably what it comes down to is that we see now that there are more opportunities for us than there were for our parents, and we're like, well, why can't we get some of that?
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
If you can go online and start a business quickly and easily, why shouldn't you be entitled to that?
Right.
Everyone should be entitled to that.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. Totally.
So okay. So if anyone looks up Brian D. Evans online, you're gonna see a couple of things. One, you're an Inc. 500 entrepreneur.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
So Inc. 500 is from Inc. magazine. It's a rating they do every year now, and they compare growth of your company from 3 years ago and today. So they say how much did your company grow from 3 years ago and today? And in 2015, my company grew 2,300% in 3 years.
Oh shit!
Which was like 100,000 to 4 million in that period of time.
From consulting.
Yeah.
So, what does that look like from a practical level? Like, what does it take to scale from 100,000 to 4 million in consulting? What does that look like?
You know, it's funny because people, especially when you have clients, people say, "Man, you must have had thousands of clients." It's it's not. It's 10.
10
okay. Or less.
And how did walk us through it?
Yeah. So different things there, but one of the things that I've done for a long time was user acquisition. So an app would come to us, or a company would come to us with a physical product or an app or something, and they'd say, "Hey, we're going to pay you $5 every time you get an install for us." And I worked with
a lot of money.
Yeah, exactly. But and I won't mention the name because I can't. But one of the apps that we worked with was doing $42 for every user. So their lifetime value was $42. So they can pay $5 all day long.
Interesting.
So if they come to
10.
yeah, exactly. Should have. So if it costs us $2 to get those users and we're getting paid $5, there's a huge value. There's a huge markup there that we're making the profit on
150%.
So yeah, exactly. So consulting / user acquisition was kind of the name of the game there. And we did everything from apps to health supplements, skincare products, weight loss products, everything that was popular online on the user acquisition side. And part of that was like consulting deal as well. So, and then they are just scaling it up. So you don't turn 10 clients into 100. You just make more money with 10 clients.
Right.
And you find scalable deals.
What does that look like?
The scale.
Like how do you take the same 10 clients and 2,000% increase with your revenue?
Well, it's fine. It's different clients.
Yeah, right. It's still 10 spaces.
Yes.
Different people in the spaces.
Exactly. So you're sort of raising your bar. It's like lifting weights, right? It's like you're starting at 100 pounds and you get up to 200 pounds and now you're going for 300 pounds.
Yeah.
So you're raising the bar as you go. And I'm not saying you want to fire your clients, but kind of to an extent, you're upgrading
Only the annoying
your clients.
ones.
Exactly. So you're kind of upgrading your clients as you go. So that's kind of what we did with BDE Ventures, which is the name of that company that was on the Inc. 500 list.
Well, that's what I've done with my girlfriends for the past 6 years. I only had one for the past 6. So for anyone who's watching right now, this is really important because what Brian's talking about is service work.
Yeah.
Right? Like doing high level consulting services for clients who are willing and able to pay you. And this is something that we talk about a lot. There's plenty of opportunities out there to help people, because at the end of the day, whether your business is a product or a service, it's there to solve a problem, alleviate a pain, or do something for your clients that maybe they could do for themselves, but they just don't have time to.
Totally.
One thing I'm interested to know, with 10 clients, scaling from 100,000 to 4 million, is there like one or two of those 10 who are the majority of the money?
Usually, yes.
Usually. And that's scary though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But what you do is, for apps, for example, we knew we had the winning formula for apps. So I could take another game and plug in the same formula. And so if we lost that client, it wouldn't be as big of a deal. It wouldn't be as big of a problem, because we could plug in a new, we've created that marketing system. So we can say, okay, let's grab that one and plug in a new app and find someone else. Say, hey, you want 1 million users too? And they're like, sure.
Shit.
So
give me an idea, without naming names of the actual companies, give me an idea of how those deals look. How are they structured? Like, how do you decide what to charge? People have no idea how to.
Yeah.
I had someone in our Facebook group yesterday. His name is Raj. He's a good guy, and he said, it's hard to know how to start off charging people, and most people don't know how to do it. And I think I agree with that.
Yeah, it's different for the business I was in, because it was action based. So for every install, we got paid $5.
And it's so evident about what's working, what's not.
Exactly. So what we would do is we'd create 10 marketing streams, and we'd say, okay, these 3 are working, these 7 didn't work. Get rid of the 7 that didn't work. Focus on the 3 that did work, and then keep continuing that process of split testing and multivariate testing until we had a formula that was giving us 150% or higher ROI.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. But then what you can do from there is, this is what the entrepreneur mind, you can say, wow, so I'm promoting this app and it's working really well. They're making a lot of money. Maybe I'll make my own app.
Right.
So I didn't get to that point with apps. I did that with other products, but you can say, okay, I figured out the system of how to market it. The app doesn't look that crazy complicated to build. There's development companies all over the world now. Now you can make your own app and plug it in, and now you've got a $100 million business of your own instead of a $4 million business.
Is it that easy though? Is it really that simple?
It's not, but it's, if you have that entrepreneurial mind where you want to keep creating instead of just saying, okay, I've got this system that's working. Okay, crank up the dial. It's something else to stimulate and go farther with it. Yeah. And people do it. It's possible to definitely do it.
So. Well, if you think about it too, like, so this is one thing I talk a lot about. When you always want to have multiple streams of income. Yeah. And having multiple clients isn't multiple streams of income. Yeah. Multiple clients is multiple clients in a consulting business. Right. The other stream would be the app, you building apps for yourself.
Right. Exactly.
Because most people think, well, I'll just get more clients, or in the internet marketing space, I'll build more products. Yep. That's great. And you should, because that maximizes the revenue that you're going to make, but also it's the same stream.
Totally. And I think that goes to taking opportunities, because if you have the opportunity to say, okay, well, let me build my own app and see what happens. Okay, now I've built an app and I have all these developers. Let me start a development company. Right. So you go down this chain of things until you sort of find the ones that resonate with you, make the most money, fulfill passion, all that kind of stuff. So you can keep going down that line as far as you want. It just never ends. And you can say, okay, that one, I love this one. I love this one. And for me, I didn't want to keep promoting apps. I wanted to do other things. So I stopped that one and focused on different ones.
How do you find clients to start working with when you don't have any connections?
I think it's all about building connections. I think that, and we've talked about this a lot. It's not always about, people say, oh, I need to meet Mark Cuban for my business to be successful. No, you don't need to meet Mark Cuban.
It might help.
It might help, but
it might not actually.
It might not. Yeah. So it might not, right? So I think you meet your peer. You want to have people on the same level of you, so to speak, to start with, and those people they're rising up. If you know enough people, you're in the right industry, being around those people that are doing interesting things, even if they're not millionaires and wildly successful yet, they're going to be. So if you know the Mark Cuban of today and you're best friends now with Mark Cuban, there
were people who knew Mark Zuckerberg when he was just in the dorm. Yeah.
And now some of them are billionaires.
Yeah. And this so for any of you guys who are wondering, like, how do I connect with influencers? Yeah. The way that I see the influencer space, you know about this, you're Influencive, right? The way I see the influencer space is that everyone kind of comes up in classes, almost like high school. Yeah. Did I have told you about this concept?
I think
it's one of my, I like this concept. It's one of my babies. I like this concept. So like, then there's different waves. So in my space of like the thought leadership, entrepreneurship space, since I really started doing it for real in like 2012, 13, I know a different set of people than if I would have started in 08.
Totally.
You know, I missed Tim Ferriss. Now, if I want to know Tim Ferriss, it's from a lower position.
Yeah.
Because I have to like network to get to him.
Get up to it.
And I, you know, unless I have some sort of like cataclysmic rise, even when my book goes #1 New York Times bestseller, he already has 3 of those. So I'm still behind.
Totally.
But there are people that I know now that are going to be just as big, if not bigger than him. They're just not yet, and we're rolling together.
Absolutely.
It's almost like in high school you have like, and there's almost, I found this, and you tell me if you found the same thing. I found that in the entrepreneurship space, there's a little bit of like a class bias, like, oh, I've been around here longer.
Yeah.
I have more money than you.
Yeah.
I'm like smarter at business.
Yeah.
So there's some barriers there. Have you found that?
It's ego. It's 100% ego. Yeah. It's
like, you can't email Tim.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have a problem with Tim. Let me come on your podcast, but you know,
it's ego, and I don't mean that in like a blaming anybody kind of way. I just mean that that's just what happens.
Yeah.
So absolutely, I see it all the time, and to an extent, here's what happens, and I'm sure you've experienced this too. And this is a problem I have, and I'm literally hiring an executive assistant because I literally can't handle the volume. So I have 100 emails that I need to respond to in a day.
It's so popular,
but I'm sure you get it too.
Yeah.
Right? You get emails, you get messages, you get
popular,
but you get lots of inquiries and messages. People want
totally.
opportunities. You have lots of opportunities.
Yeah.
So it's like you can't handle it all. So you have to eventually either stop responding or hire a ton of people to respond to it.
Yeah.
But like, here's the thing, like Leonardo DiCaprio, he's not going to respond to every fan. He can't. It's impossible, right?
Yep.
So you kind of have to take that mindset to it when you're an influencer, because you can't really respond. It kind of goes to people pleasing, I think. You don't want to become a people pleaser where you're just responding to. You could spend your whole life. I'm so sure you could spend your entire day as well just responding to emails and messages and things.
Between email, Snapchat, Instagram direct message, text message, Facebook Messenger, plus any like public posting that I've done, that would take up my
your
whole
entire
day, every day, all day, would not make any money.
Right.
And also a lot of people are takers too.
Yes.
They'll just like, you'll give them awesome information, be like, thanks, and you'll never hear from them again.
Yes.
They're like,
it's the problem of time.
Yeah.
It's that we all have the same amount of time in a day. You know, it's not that we don't have time. It's that we're using our time in ways we shouldn't be.
Right.
So it's about maximizing time, I feel.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with like, I think that I've found now that it's best to like detach yourself from the emotional aspect of not being able to respond to everything.
Yes.
Because it's like a physical inability.
Yes.
I'm incapable of doing it, so I shouldn't feel bad that I can't.
Right.
It's not like I'm neglecting.
Yeah.
So I do my best to respond to everyone. Now, Gary Vee would say, scale the things that are unscalable. So he'd be like, I respond to fucking everyone.
Yeah.
I just can't live my life like that. But I respond to a lot though.
Well, you know, if you can have a big enough staff, you could respond to like social media messages and you know, some things.
Not that big of a staff, like 1 or 2 people.
Yeah. You could, you know, so you could respond, but I like the mindset shift there, because you don't want to feel like you're indebted and you have to respond to everything. Well,
and this just goes to show everyone who's watching and listening now, there's no there's no right way, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Gary Vee says, scale the unscalable, respond to everyone. He even had a whole video. He's like, look at me on Twitter right now. I'm fucking responding to everyone. And then you'll have Seth Godin, who's like, at a certain point, the one-to-many relationship necessitates the one person create a wall.
Yeah.
And they're both very successful in what they do. They both written a trillion book. Well, you know,
close enough.
Seth has written a trillion. Gary's written like 5.
Yeah.
And you know, and there's no right way.
No, there's no right way.
Successful.
That's the thing. There's no right way.
Yeah, there's no right way.
There's no formula. It's not, even the formula is not the formula. And actually, I literally live my life by contradicting myself.
The formula is not the formula.
The formula is not the formula.
That's a great, make a t-shirt out of that.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like for entrepreneurs, people will say, oh, well, why are you on Twitter? I don't get anything out of Twitter. I get 1/3 of my traffic from Influencive on Twitter. It's like, it's different for everybody.
Twitter's dead to me.
But that's the thing. It's different for everybody. And depending on how you use it, why you use it, all these different things.
I only use Twitter to hit on Zoe Kravitz. That's the only reason I use Twitter.
There's definitely traffic there. I mean,
no
look at, we're not going to get political here, but look at the recent political thing. Twitter was a big factor.
Yeah, Twitter was huge. I mean, Trump uses Twitter as his personal PR system.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably half the reason it's alive right now. But
actually, he's created a lot of traffic for it, so it is good. Speaking of that, what do you think is going to happen to Twitter?
I think Twitter. So I was talking to this with somebody recently. I think Twitter probably needs a sort of parent company, whether it's like a Salesforce or a Google or a Facebook or
Salesforce tried to buy them and then they backed out.
Something happened because they wanted too much money for it. But I think if they had like a bigger umbrella over it, because look at Twitter, it's a household name.
Yeah.
It's every celebrity and famous person on the planet is on Twitter.
Data.
It's got all the user data, gazillion users. You can get traffic out of there.
It's permanent.
Marketers know how to use the marketers that use it right can get a lot of traffic out of it.
It's not going to die.
I mean, I was just debating this with somebody today. They were like, oh, but it's going to turn into MySpace. I don't think so. I really don't think so. So I think it needs a parent company, and I think they can juice it up. I think if it combined with somebody like a Google or something like that, it would just be right back in the game.
Well, the thing is too, Google's not that good at social media.
Yeah.
So they need to,
but they'd have the resources to maybe do something with Twitter.
If Facebook bought Twitter, which would never happen.
Yeah.
It just got egos, I think.
Yeah.
They would do it right.
Yeah. I love Twitter. I mean, I think that
Twitter's fun
for marketers too, there's a lot of value there. If you you kind of have to think in a spam-ish mindset because it's just most recent in the feed.
That's the only way I think. Everything I do is spam, obviously. Yeah, you totally. I mean, it's just the recency effect, right?
The recency, yeah. I mean, there are some algorithms now, but Twitter actually, and even going on so another little tactic there is going with the hashtags of trending that day and going live even on Periscope actually will get you.
I only have one phone right now.
I get mine out.
I don't have that many people on Periscope though.
Even but you'll get some from Twitter as well.
Yeah. Well, so. I was disappointed that that Twitter didn't really capitalize on the fact that they were first. Well, they weren't even first to market with live stream, but like Periscope was doing it well. First.
Yeah.
Meerkat was really kind of. Periscope was very heavily. They had a huge lead because I remember in June 2015, I was in Vegas at a social media or at a private like Instagram influencers dinner. It was just me and like the other 10 most influential people in the entrepreneurship space on Instagram. Yeah. And we all agreed Periscope is the next thing, guys. Everyone get on it. And then like we all got on it and then it died.
Yeah.
And it's just I thought it was like it's like someone was like walking home with some groceries and they just dropped them.
Yeah. Well,
what the fuck happened?
The thing there is hindsight's 2020, but also we don't know the future. I'm not a mind reader. There are people out there that can read the future.
If I wish I was, I would have known you did jujitsu.
But that's the thing. It's like a stock, right? It's like we don't really know, but we're hedging our bets. You're on Instagram, you're on Facebook, you're on Snapchat, you're on Twitter. Yeah. So you're kind of hedging your bet and saying, okay, something's gonna work, and some of these are working. So what I do is I focus on what's working. Like you were just telling me today, Facebook Live, Instagram Live. That's working now. Go for it. You got it. So you have to kind of see what's working now and just go for it.
That's why I'm on
capitalize.
Snap. Yeah. I think Snap will die out.
Yeah.
But it's useful now.
Exactly. Exactly. If you can get value from it now, you use it now. It's a tool.
Yeah, exactly. And I put a post up on Facebook today. I said, social media is not a strategy for business. It's a tool.
Yeah.
So you can't say, oh, how are you going to get customers? Social media. That's like saying I'm going to get customers from phone calls. Okay, how?
Yeah, exactly.
That's all it is a mass phone call.
Right. What's the exact strategy?
What's the strategy?
Yeah.
Trust me, Twitter's not going to work if you don't have a strategy. It's just saying Twitter.
That's like saying where are your customers on Earth?
Yeah, on Earth. Is there anyone that wants to do something?
Yeah.
You're totally right. And I think that one thing that is very clear now is that as it used to be where there were only like one or two real social networks. Like it was like Facebook and Twitter. Yeah. Or it was MySpace was the first, like one of the first big social networks.
Totally.
Which, by the way, I don't think it's completely dead. I think the investors have done something with that data.
Yeah. I think there's something there. Yeah.
But it used to be like there were only a few real social networks. Now they're like niche social networks are popping up everywhere.
Yes.
And you have to figure out where your customers are.
Yes.
And market using that channel, but be prepared to like let it go.
Yeah. And be okay with that.
Yeah, and continue to like build your core followings on the ones that seem to be having the longest lifespan.
Yep.
And then you just kind of we don't know if Instagram's gonna be around. I hope it is. I think it is.
It kind of goes with being everywhere. Like Grant Cardone, Gary Vaynerchuk, for example, are everywhere. So and you're building more fan bases because you're accessing different audiences. So I think it's smart. I think why not do that?
Yeah, why not? Like what would be the reason not to? I could.
Yeah. No, I refuse to. You know what it is actually. People will say I don't use Snapchat. And I've said that myself before, and I was like, well, why is that? I don't have many followers there.
Yeah.
So that's what it goes.
You're encouraged to,
yeah.
Of course I like Instagram Live because I have the most followers.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's so great, amazing.
Yeah.
But if Facebook Live looks like it's something that in the algorithm is working, maybe I should try it.
Right. So we all have biases based on our followers and audiences and things like that for sure. So
we were talking at the beginning about taking the unconventional road to learning, to starting a business, to life. What do you think is a common mistake that people take when they're trying to chart their path in life?
I think the first thing is I call it the inevitability of success mindset. So the first thing is the definition of success. Mm-hmm. They make their definition of success so specific. They say, I want to make $1 million this year.
Me too.
Or I want to make $1 billion this year. Or I want to I want to be the president, or
no one ever don't wish to be a billionaire, guys. You probably don't want that.
Yeah. So I think that what success means to everybody, you know, make your success goals that are, I don't want to say small, but that are achievable. So you can build momentum. It's like, if you started training jiu-jitsu, we won't get on jiu-jitsu here, and you just got destroyed every single time, you would, you know, by black belts, you would just give up probably. But if you train with people on the same belt class and the same skill level, you'll build your skills, you get momentum.
And your confidence.
And your confidence, you start building momentum. So I think you want to set your goal. I think it goes to goals too, is you want to set goals that are achievable. The next thing that I see as a problem is just the way people talk about what they're doing. They'll say, I'm trying to build a business. You know, if I build, I think conditional statements. If I build a successful business, I will be happy. You know, so they,
and will. Oh,
yeah. So the conditional statements, and I'm not saying this from an ego standpoint of,
it's NLP, man.
Yeah, but it's true. So and I'm not saying it from an ego standpoint of, oh, I'm so great, I'll build any successful business. I fail all the time, but I believe in what I'm doing, because if I don't believe in what I'm doing, you're not going to believe in what I'm doing. Subconsciously, you're going to say, oh, he doesn't really believe in what he's doing. Why would I want to support that? And sort of the universe is not going to support you either. So,
well, I mean, this is something that we should all train ourselves to watch with our language.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
Do you do that?
I do.
So do you correct yourself in real time
sometimes? I'll play it back in my mind when I say something, and I'll try to correct myself. See, I just said it there. Try. I'll correct myself in the moment.
Because how do you try to correct yourself? You just correct yourself or you don't?
I do.
Right. So, but like
you can't try to correct yourself. Yeah, you either do it or you don't. Right.
So I think humans insert the try to give ourselves a backdoor in case we don't want to do it.
You admit the error, or whatever you want to call it, and do something about it.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, oh, and also what I was doing there is, I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of people will do this too. Oh, their posture changes, their tone changes. And Tony Robbins is famous for doing this. He'll say, he came into a guy with a meeting, and he said, "What's wrong?" And the guy was, "I don't know what's wrong." It's like, maybe it's your face. Maybe it's your energy. Like you're frowning. Like there's 40 muscles in your face and they're all down.
Tony must be so sick of the same bullshit. Like he's like, I've been doing this for 20 years. If you're feeling bad, just read my book.
Yeah. But your posture and your energy is super important too. You know? And I think that people use their physicality and just the physicality too. And there's different ways to do it. There's power posing. You put your hands on your hips and stand up, and it's the weirdest thing. And it makes you look like an idiot. But it actually, you do it and you're like, wow, this feels different.
It feels different.
Yeah. And so your physicality is also super important. Don't slouch over in the chair and hunch. People sit on the couch and, you know, they're laying on the couch eating chips. I don't know what's wrong. I'm depressed. Get off the couch. You know
what? And I love those commercials. You ever see those commercials back in the day? Hey, you get off the couch. Go train ITT Tech. This is why I don't like working from home though. That's why I like having an office space. Like outside of my house, because if I'm going to work from the couch, slowly my posture deteriorates.
Yeah, hunched over.
And then I feel less on it. I feel less productive.
Yes.
You know?
Exactly.
I stand when I work at a place that's only dedicated to work in the office.
Yeah.
You know? And I mean, I do work from home sometimes.
Right. And it goes back, there's a deeper thing there. And John Azarov from The Secret is famous for popularizing this. So even our own brains, there's a problem with our brains. Okay. Our brain, your brain,
yourself.
But it's true. All of our brains are programmed to keep us alive.
Right.
The brain is going to keep us alive. It says, okay, this is what Daniel's done to stay alive for this many years. So if you do anything outside of that norm, your brain says, whoa, you're doing something crazy here. Stop.
We don't do that here.
So being an entrepreneur, exactly. So being an entrepreneur, when you get let's say we decide to start a business, we're high five and we love it. We're going to do a business. Awesome. We're pumped up, adrenaline, dopamine, blah, blah, blah. Then you get home and you say, I don't know. That's your brain saying, hey, wait a minute. This hasn't kept you alive up until this point. Stop.
It's not necessary to do this. Like, why expend the extra energy? Because you need to conserve it because there's tigers and shit.
Right. Tigers.
Oh, by the way, Ryan, can you hear me okay? I'm kind of like side talking to the mic. Is it good? Okay.
So, you have to retrain your brain. So the way you can do that, and this sounds weird, but do the craziest things. Do
the absolute crazy shit you can do right now.
You have to be used to being unorthodox. You have to do things that your brain's like, you want your brain to get used to going, all right, he's at it again. Stretching it. Yeah. So, you get a crazy business idea that next time it's not going to be crazy. Yeah. Because that's just how you are, how you roll. Yep. So when you get inspired to do something, do it. Train your brain that when I come up with an idea, if I'm skydiving, I'm going to do it.
Well, and this is, I think the important thing about that is people, so I saw a quote about this recently, And it was just the idea that like people don't want to do anything that they're not sure they'll be successful at.
Yeah.
And that's the wrong mentality, because
Right.
you're not going to get success from waiting to have the perfect successful plan.
Exactly.
A lot of times success is like you said, fail.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, we hit one.
Yep.
You know,
the brain, there's actually a term for it. It's error detection mechanism. Again, John Azaroff. And it's your brain saying, whoa, that's not normal. Stop.
Yeah.
Just because it's not normal. So it's fear. So if you can't push past that, it's like people say push past the fear, but it's literally about that. It's about, okay, and that's what happens. We go home and we say, I don't know if I want to do that. That's exactly when you want to do it anyways.
So to bring this back to jiu-jitsu, this is how I feel. This is why I do tournaments.
Yeah.
Because it's intensely, like, I don't know if scary. It is scary.
Yeah. Sure.
But there's also like another type of more like primal.
Yes.
And have you competed yet?
Not in like a big tournament, but like in an in-house type thing. Yeah.
It's still, I mean, even when I go to roll, like after class.
Yeah.
There are certain people that I'm like, oh, this guy, you know, I know how this is gonna go.
Yeah.
You know, or like I don't feel like exerting my energy on this guy. But
right.
There's this like there's all this energy built up around resisting the action.
Yes.
And you can turn that energy into like positive momentum if you overcome that barrier.
Yes.
Because you have all the energy stored up.
Yes.
You know?
Just like jiu-jitsu, like you're saying, oh, I really don't want to train the black belt, I'm going to lose again. Wrong mentality.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Eventually, maybe you'll get something.
Actually, usually the black belts and brown belts are nicer.
Yeah.
It's like the asshole blue belts and purple belts that are like, they just got good.
I want to kill you now.
Yeah, they just got good like a year ago.
It's like a hungry lion.
Yeah.
Like, I want to eat somebody.
The black belt, I mean, unless you get a real asshole, the black belts are generally pretty, because they're like, what against a blue belt or a white belt, like what do they have to prove?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But it's so interesting, because I've noticed that a lot of my biggest wins have come on the rebound of things I thought were really bad. You said that you had a bunch of failures leading up to success, and obviously you had good stuff happen to you with BDE, and now you have Influencive. What were some of the big failures, the big flops?
I built a direct response company, and I won't go into too many details,
Like
but
mail? Direct mail?
Direct selling products online. Okay. So we had affiliates that were selling the products.
Mm-hmm.
Good and bad thing of that is you have people that are marketing your stuff for you. You're paying them to market it.
Right.
The bad side of that, you don't know what they're doing. It's very hard to monitor and keep track. So the affiliates, of course, do the craziest stuff, put the most ridiculous claims on there and stuff like that. So long story short, it did a lot of money, but then because of the way it was being promoted, crashed. So it went from 8 figures to 0 in a very short period of time. So that was a big learning. That was a big lesson there in not having control, but not getting into businesses that you have so little control that you can't even see what's happening.
Yeah.
So I definitely learned a few things there. But it was a good lesson in scaling something fast, but then not being attached to, okay, crashed, fine, move on.
Yeah.
Or versus I could cry about it and be upset that I lost money and it crashed. Or I could say, wow, I learned how to build something really successful financially. Now let me take that to something else that I align with more and that I have a different kind of control over.
Yeah. And you take I find that in lessons like that, you can take the systems that you learned with you.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, the systems are super important. Yeah, you can, like the same thing that happened with apps.
Right,
I learned how to promote apps and just plug in. Okay, give me a new game, plug it in. New game, plug it in. Yeah. As long as it fit somewhat of a mold, I could plug in a new one and just market more stuff, get it more traffic to it, more installs.
Yeah, that was a big thing that we learned too. The value of systems.
Yeah.
Do you have systems in your business right now?
I do.
What are some of the most crucial ones?
So, like for Influencive, for example, an editor is something basic as that people would understand. You know, if you don't have an editor, there's no system. So it's scaled from, 5 writers to 200 writers. And
you have 200 writers on Influencive?
200 writers. Not everyone's published yet, but there's 200 writers.
Wow. They're all contributors?
Contributors.
Fuck, man.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
So if I didn't have a system there, like, what am I going to edit? I'll edit all the stuff myself.
Do they all contribute consistently?
No. It's those are the approved contributors, and then maybe half.
Still a lot, though.
Yeah,
How
half.
do you get writers?
Clinton, the COO, is responsible for a lot of the sort of biz dev on that side of it. Clinton Senko, and then lots of people just see stuff like this and just come in and say, "Whoa, a platform, awesome, looks great. I want to." They'll submit an application.
Do you still have slots?
Yeah.
Okay, so where can people?
Yeah, so it's influencive.com/contribute.
Contribute, awesome.
Yeah.
I'll put a post up with that in the Rich20 Facebook group too.
Yeah, cool.
Which would be good. I mean, your platform's getting a lot. Like it's getting a lot of exposure now. You said 30,000 uniques a day.
Yeah.
So it's $1 million a month. Yeah. That's fucking great.
Our highest in a 30-day period was 1.2 million uniques and just over 3 million page views.
Holy shit, man. That's great. Is it paid traffic?
We have some paid traffic. Yeah.
What's the percentage of paid to organic?
About 30% is paid.
Wow. So where, and you said half of the 70% left is from Twitter?
We have about a third of the traffic about a third of the traffic from Twitter.
Sense.
Yeah.
So you're getting like between 5 and 10,000 hits a day from Twitter.
Yep.
That makes no sense. I got one favorite on my last post.
Yeah. We have some very unique relationships on Twitter. Yeah. We have like our average post on Influencive gets between 300 and 600, not retweets, but individual tweets for that article. Like, you've seen like Buffer, for example. Mm-hmm. So we're plugged into systems like that where it's shown at a priority in their feed.
Plugged into systems. What do you mean?
So we have partnerships with different things like Buffer, for example. And a lot of our posts are prioritized in the feed. So we get a lot of traction from some of these partnerships.
Prioritized in Twitter's feed?
In Buffer.
In Buffer's feed.
So like Buffer, for example, like what it is basically if you want to find, it's like content discovery. So people want something to share, they want to plug into their Hootsuite or whatever, or Buffer. It gives them a suggestion.
So I didn't even know that was possible.
Yeah. So think about it like, how you go on Instagram and it suggests people to follow. We have suggested content to retweet and to tweet and stuff.
How did you? I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah.
How did you develop those relationships?
It just randomly happened, actually. I was just using one of their tools, and they just asked me if I wanted to be like a regular contributor to submitting content. So we now, all of our content is synced up in there, and we have other partnerships really too, cool, but also through content syndication, we've got some unique deals. We just did a new one with the Good Men Project.
Nice, I just got on with them. Hillary.
Yeah, Hillary. Yeah, she's great. Maybe she's watching.
Because I saw her on Influenctive. I'm like, I know Hillary.
Yeah. So we're doing partnerships like that, for example.
We do that too. We do like all the major entrepreneurial website, all that.
Yeah.
And if anyone wants to know how to get into those magazines, we have a product. It's called Front Page Formula.
Nice.
So frontpageformula.com/course, and you can check it out. And basically what it is it's just a step-by-step system for how we developed relationships with these publishers.
I didn't know you had that. That's great, because that's like the number one question people ask me.
The interesting thing about outlets like Fortune, Time, Forbes is that they aren't as hard to get into as you might think, but they still carry all the weight of the logo, of the print version even.
Yes.
And if you can just say that you're featured in Time magazine, that does something.
Totally. It's credibility.
And again, I tweeted at Zoe Kravitz. I'm like, Zoe, I'm in Time magazine, and she hasn't tweeted me back. So I don't know. But no, I mean, and so this is something interesting. So partnerships are something that I think most beginning entrepreneurs are sleeping on, because they're trying to do everything themselves.
Yes.
You can't.
Yes. No.
What's a good beginner's mindset for developing partnerships?
So partnerships, think about it like this. We're in a similar space, both entrepreneurs, both doing stuff online. We could say, hey, we're competitors. I don't want to talk to you. We could do that. Or we could say, hey, let's kill this together.
How can we?
Yeah. So I have something, you have something. What if we go like this and just boom? So
that's how you make babies.
right? We'll talk about that next time.
Rich babies with lots of money.
So, it's, if you look at any of the most successful apps, if you look at Facebook, Instagram, for example, Snapchat, Twitter, Microsoft, Apple, they all come up in 2s or 4s. So
interesting.
There's not just like one, there's no like Goliath that's just going by itself.
Huh.
Right? If you look at every successful, even the games, even the apps, technology, Facebook, we're on Facebook and Instagram.
There's always multiple successful people doing the same thing.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So look at like a Gary Vaynerchuk, Tim Ferriss, Grant Cardone. A lot of these guys came up at the same time. We're kind of coming up at the same time, so to speak. Mm-hmm. So you either partner and grow faster, or you say, oh, we're competition.
Go it alone.
But it's going to be a lonely life.
Yeah.
and it's already, especially for entrepreneurs, it's already a small incestuous community.
So it's smaller than it seems.
Yeah. So if you create enemies and don't collaborate, you're not doing yourself any service. So I think that realizing the point there is realizing that you want to creating partnerships is going to help you accelerate faster. It's not going to slow you down. And I think that it's just a mindset shift there of saying, it's okay to, even Influencive, for example, we have a content platform. I am willing to partner with lots of different other content platforms to collaborate, share content, promote each other. And I could look at it and say, whoa, you got Good Men Project, for example. I could say, hey, you guys are too similar. I don't want to work together. But instead, we're helping each other. We're growing faster because we're working together. Yeah. So I think it's about shifting the mindset of it's not competition, it's collaboration.
Totally. And I mean, also, you know, when I think about my space specifically, not my space, but entrepreneurship space, one of the things we do, this is not the only thing we do, but one of the things we do is we sell online courses. They're educational and designed to teach you a skill that will help you in your life.
Yeah.
And that's a competitive space too. A lot of people are doing that.
Yeah.
But what most beginners don't realize, or people on the outside don't realize, is that there's a certain type of person that buys those programs. Yes. I'm one of those people.
Yes.
And you buy multiple of them.
Yes.
So if we collaborate on something and we both have products, there's a good chance that people will buy from both of us.
Right. Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
So
totally.
Why the fuck not?
It's association, actually. So what we're doing right now, this is association. We're both gaining sort of exposure to different audiences. Oprah is famous for this. You go on, Tom Cruise goes on Oprah, somebody goes on Oprah. They're both gaining exposure through that.
Yeah.
So it's like a modern day talk show. Like even this, for example, it's like a modern day talk show of gaining exposure through mutual audiences.
Totally.
Sharing each other's content, working together. Yeah. So it all goes hand in hand with building and gaining access to more things. And the course is the same thing. It's like you can either compete or collaborate.
Yeah.
And usually when you collaborate, it goes bigger, faster.
Yeah. And some things you might want to do when you're partnering off. And I like to think of it as like in the beginning, find people who are on your same level, and then maybe like, I don't know exactly what the qualifications are, but then find someone who is like maybe 1 or 2 levels above you max. You know, so if you're just starting off and you want to find people to share your content, whether on YouTube or you have a podcast, or you write stuff, or you just do a lot of stuff on social media, you know, you don't shoot for the top guy in your space right away, because they probably won't even see you, top guy or top girl. They jujitsu. They probably won't even see you through the flurry of messages, and they wouldn't have an incentive to share your stuff because they don't get the ROI on that. Sometimes you'll get lucky and they'll see one of your things and share it. Yeah. But asking for a collaboration doesn't work, and I've tried that because when I first started Rich20 and I had nothing to offer, no benefits to everyone else. I'm like, can you please, like, I would ask things like, can you like share? I would ask like,
can you retweet it or something?
Yeah, can you retweet it, or like, can you send it out to your email list? Because I didn't realize what an imposition that was. Like, I didn't realize that someone sending out something to the email list is like their whole business.
Yes.
Like, I can't send this out to my email list. No, I'm not gonna send this out to 100,000 people.
Totally.
I don't know you.
Totally. But what you can do there is, let's say we're working on something together, and you can build a team of people, and then you can go to the Gary Vaynerchuk and say, hey, we've got, it's not just me now, it's me and Daniel and Bob and Susie. Right. We've got this group of things that you're gonna reach now 10 million people. Yeah. So you create something that's more attractive. Or
10,000.
And whatever. It goes with, or 10,000. And it goes with collaboration. Yeah. Instead of competing, now we have something that's collectively bigger. And we can go out there and get access to bigger and bigger things because we've teamed up in some capacity or collaborated to build that bigger. It's like a mastermind. Yeah. You go to a mastermind, it's each person could say, no, I know what I know and I'm not sharing it with anybody. Or you could say, hey, let's combine our minds and create a mastermind, and now we're smarter together.
Yeah, totally. Well, I mean, that's part of the reason why people watch podcasts like this, to hear what other people are doing. Yeah. To try to figure it out. But you can do that. You should do that locally, with like in your real life. You're watching this now, but you should do it in your real life. Yes. One of the things I recommend, I was talking to a friend, Karik, if you're watching this, what's up? I was talking to you and you pissed me off the other day. Well, no, he didn't piss me off. But what he said was, he's like, because Karik is super talented. He does graphic design, he does video editing, he does all these like really useful, highly relevant skills right now. Yeah. But he stays at home a lot. So he's like, man, I can't find anybody who needs what I have. I don't know who I should talk to. I'm like, you need to get out of the house. Yeah, get out of the house. Go like, you can go on Facebook events, and there are like a list of events in your area. Totally. I went to a maple syrup tasting contest in Anaheim like 3 weeks ago, and then people I would never have met. But I mean, you find things to do, and then you start asking people about what they do, and eventually you make these organic connections. You never know we're going to make the connections too. You never know. And I mean, Tim Ferriss might be there. Sometimes it just starts with hello too. It's not like you don't have to go with a big pitch or a big agenda. Don't pitch. Don't even pitch. Just talk to people. Yeah. You'll know when it's the right time to pitch. Yeah. But I think that, again, it goes back to the idea of, well, I don't want to do it unless I know it's going to be successful. So like, why would I go to this why would I go to this event that I've never been to? Why would I talk to these people I don't know? Yeah. I don't know if they can help me. But that's the problem. If you believe it's not going to be successful, it's not going to be successful. If you believe it's going to be successful, you'll find success because you define and control what that means. Yeah. So if you go and say, I'm going to meet one person. Yeah. Just walk up to one person. And here's the thing. I think people are nervous about, I'm not a super outgoing person, but I think one of the things for me anyways to get over was, hey, you don't have to become somebody else to network. You can just be yourself. And you should be yourself because you're unique. That's very motherly advice. Just be yourself, honey. Be the best version of yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Not a fake alternate version,
No.
but like this the best version.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
That's really good advice, and I think that I actually know quite a few introverts who are very well connected.
Yeah.
You know, it has nothing to do with introvert extrovert.
Some of the most connected people I know are more introverted.
A lot of the entrepreneurship guys online, or a lot of the, I mean, Ty is a good example. Like he's very extroverted online.
Yeah.
But he's also with like a withdrawn guy a little bit.
Yeah.
At least this is only from my limited interaction with him.
Yeah.
But he's a nice dude and he's very well connected.
Yeah.
So you don't need to be all out there,
right,
to make friends. In fact, a lot of us appreciate introverts.
Yeah. Totally.
Extroverts love introverts because they allow extroverts to talk.
Yeah, for sure.
So you can win on both ways. If you're an extrovert, you can just blab, and hopefully if it's good, people will listen.
Yeah.
And if you're an introvert, just listen. People love talking.
There's another one too called, it's either ambivert or omnivert, and it's like an in-between an introvert and an extrovert.
Well, that's just...
it's kind of like you're selectively, you kind of naturally selectively...
Omnivert is I eat both.
Yeah. You kind of have different sort of tones in different scenarios and situations. You kind of adapt to situations. So totally. I think that's also powerful, but don't do it from a fake standpoint, only if it's natural.
Yeah.
Like I sometimes I'm really extroverted and I'm sometimes really introverted.
Same.
But it's natural.
Yeah.
So I kind of classify myself as more of an ambivert, which is sort of in the middle.
I think well, and probably there's a spectrum. I think I'm probably I think I'm like if like a true extrovert, because I don't think anyone's truly one thing or the other. We all have modes.
Yeah, totally.
But maybe like a true extrovert would be somewhere around 70 or 80%.
Yeah.
And I think I'm like probably closer to 60 or 70%.
Yeah.
But that 30 to 40% I use purposely when I don't feel like always being the guy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And there's also I found in social situations, you can tell who sometimes I'll purposely cede the spotlight to someone who is being more extroverted than me.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad is like this. My dad is just like a bigger, blacker version of me. And he's 6'3", he's 300 pounds, and he's extremely gregarious. So when we're together, usually I'm the extrovert in most situations, but I just like yield to him because you're the bigger guy, you know. He's my dad, but also like in that situation where I can feel the energy, like I let him. Yeah. Because it's not always about us having the spotlight. It's okay.
True. It's okay.
You know?
I have people around me like that too, where it's, you know, they have that way of being really, you know, louder or more extroverted. And that's okay, because that's not me necessarily.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that. Yeah. So it's a balance, especially with business partners or team or stuff like that. It's good to have the yin and the yang, you know, the balance. So I think.
And if you spend all your time talking, you didn't learn anything.
Right.
Because people, you know, I like to talk too.
Right. Well, a friend of mine, Sam Rasani, says this. We have one mouth and 2 ears.
Yeah.
And it's for a reason.
Yeah, it's exactly. And listening is like an important skill. Here's an interesting question for you. A lot of people who watch this show are entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. So they haven't even crossed the threshold to entrepreneurship. And I think that there's a lot of frustration about the starting point. And what I'd like to know is, if you start from zero, let's say they came and they wiped your bank accounts, but they, you know, obviously you have some of the knowledge you have now.
Yeah.
Think about what you know now, and a lot of the things that you have, the knowledge you've gained and the relationships you have are a result of the mistakes you've made in the past. But let's say you didn't have all those relationships or the money to fund a new venture. What would your thinking be? How would you like true ground zero, not like Brian ground zero? Because I know that if I had to start over again, I could like call people.
Yeah.
When we talked about this, I could just get a job if I needed to.
Yeah.
But what's the true beginner's mindset as an entrepreneur? How do you really go from zero?
With knowing what I know and answering that question, what I'll say is, and I'm going to get deep here for a second, but take the thing that's the scariest to you and do that. Okay. So to me, I was terrified of being seen. I was terrified of being a writer or being seen. Okay. So I actually was an actor for a period of time.
Me too.
Were you? That's cool. Nice. And I was terrified to be on camera or to do anything like this, like 10 years ago.
Anything we've seen? Any movies we've seen?
There's a movie you can find on Amazon still. It's called Heavy Times. You can get another one on YouTube. I think it's called Thief Jerky. It was a short film. It was a comedy, of course. Nice. We made it in 5 minutes. No, sorry. It was a 5-minute film that we made in 48 hours for a 48-hour film festival in Boston.
I did those too. I love those.
Yeah, really 40-hour film festival. Yeah, we won like some awards and stuff. So for me, it was finding the thing that I was most afraid of and conquering it. So I was afraid to be seen. I was afraid to be out there. So I said, I'm going to be out there. So
that's the first step?
That was the first step.
Wow.
Because normal thinking is, okay, let's do something I'm good at.
Right.
but you're not building
Yeah.
a skill.
That's a
I
good
mean, you
point.
could be, you know, if you're naturally good at something, fine. But like things always don't always come easy for people. Like there's lots of stories out there. Like a Jordan, he was kicked off one of his basketball teams, right? And he stuck with it. He was you know, there was fear involved.
I'm not good at this.
Yeah. I'm not good. Yeah.
Well, I think he was good at basketball, but
Yeah.
doesn't mean that you're going to succeed just because you're good at it.
Yes. So I think on a developmental level, if you take something that you're afraid of as a fear and you conquer that, that builds the momentum.
Yeah. That's a
And
good
to
point.
become an entrepreneur, I think you have to develop that momentum. And when you accomplish something, when you say, I was afraid of this, and I'm not saying like, if you're afraid of jumping out of a plane, you should jump out of a plane.
Brian said I was really afraid to drink the cyanide.
But something you're interested in,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, something you're interested in. So me, and also for writing too. Before I became a writer, I was terrified. I was like, my content sucks. I'm not very good.
Yeah.
So, but I finally just put something out there, and guess what? It was junk. It was garbage.
Yeah.
But you know what happened? Because it was online, because some people followed me, even if it was 7. They said, it wasn't very good. Maybe next time you can do this instead.
Yeah.
So I got natural feedback.
Your family told that to you? Maybe you could do this next time? That's so rude. Oh.
It wasn't my family.
Yeah.
They said it was great.
Yeah.
So by putting it out there and sort of exposing yourself, that's one step towards conquering the fear.
Yeah.
And then by looking at those fears, you can create something. And then before I knew it, that's when I started Influencive. And I had content out there, and people said it wasn't very good at first, but naturally it got better and better, because I was embarrassed. I was like, oh man, this is not very good. I got to do something about this.
Yeah.
So I'd even go back and edit my same articles. People would say, hey, your first article, I didn't really get the point. You sort of lost me in the middle. So I'd go back and read it and say, oh, I see that point. That point doesn't make sense. So I'd change it.
Yeah.
And then they'd read it again and say, oh yeah, I get it now. Yeah. And then naturally I got better and better and better and better. So before
constant iteration.
Yeah.
Constant iteration.
Just little changes. But by putting it out there, and so the problem with a lot of people, entrepreneurs, becoming entrepreneurs, they don't take any steps. So going with the fear thing, if you just take one step and expose yourself and you have to take a big enough step where you're sort of exposed.
Yeah. Where people will see if you fail.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes.
You know,
and that's powerful.
If it's too private, then it's not motivating enough.
There's social
change.
pressure or some kind of pressure on you. And it's like goal setting too. It's like, I like telling people my goals, because then I feel like there's pressure for me to accomplish them.
Okay. So what are your 3 goals for 2017? So we have it here on camera in the.
So Influencive, reaching 10 million people a month.
Okay.
So the other thing about Influencive is most people don't realize, and this is me saying something that most people wouldn't say, is Influencive is not a profitable business right now.
Right.
It's a platform that I'm creating because I don't want to monetize it heavily right now.
Right.
I want to build it and grow it as fast as I can. So I want to monetize and start making money from Influencive, but not in like a gimme kind of way, in a way that gives true value.
Patience,
that gives true value to people. So, and also I'd like to build Influencive to about 1 million followers next year too.
On Facebook?
Facebook.
Oh, that's totally possible.
Yeah.
You're
We're at
like
250
10,000 a day. So
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so that's 1.
That's 3.
10 million followers, or 10 million.
10 million
uniques.
Yeah, 1 million followers. And what did I just say? We'll come up with another one.
Yeah.
10 million uniques, 1 million followers, and start monetizing on a bigger level in a way that's giving value to the audience rather than just doing it for selfish purposes. I don't want to make money.
That that's something that it's definitely a young person's mindset, but anyone who's really ambitious, sometimes that ambition can turn into greed.
Yeah.
But it's not always like a greed because the person is bad. It's more of sometimes it's an unwitting greed. Like for instance, we don't know that it's not correct to like gimme in the beginning.
Yeah.
We think that business is about getting as much as we can for ourselves.
Taking.
Right.
Yeah.
When in reality, with any type of business,
yeah,
it's people that are buying from you.
Yes.
They have to feel like they're being taken care of. And there's only so long where you can gimme for a while.
Yeah.
But then eventually like, what am I getting out of this?
Yeah.
You know? And so you have to have that mindset going in. Otherwise the ending is not going to be what you want it to be.
I think you have to be selective about what you're asking for. I think you do have a relationship with any audience or any, even if you haven't, that's the thing, even if you have an audience, you have a relationship with all those people.
Yeah.
It's not an audience where it's like some mystical thing in the distance. Those are people.
Real people.
So you have relationship on some level with all those people.
Yeah, even if it's one to many.
Yes.
You know, and it's in your, if you think about it in a more utilitarian way, you're taking up a certain amount of people's time every day.
Yes.
Even if it's a post that they read,
Yeah.
or like a video that they watch. If they watch a 5-minute video that's on your page, they spent 5 minutes looking at something you put up.
Yeah.
So let's respect that.
Totally.
You know,
people use and abuse their audience.
Totally.
So think about it like this. Think of somebody you respect, right? And then say, okay, I'm going to present my product to them.
Right.
And if they go to you and they're like, that's weird, like, are you just trying to make money off me or what? Then you know you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
So but people, when they're pitching something to an audience, they kind of don't think about that. And they just they come off really salesy or aggressive or something like that in an over the top kind of way. And there's places for that, but think about it on an individual level. Like, how would you present this to someone that you really valued and respected, and do that to your audience? And I guarantee you, even if you don't make as much money as you would have on the first attempt by being aggressive, in the long run, it'll work out better for everybody because you'll keep your audience.
I started Rich20 in 2012 and I didn't sell anything to 14.
Yeah.
You know,
that's kind of my mindset with Influencive.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to make $1 billion from it directly right this minute.
Yeah.
But I want to keep giving value.
Yeah.
So I want to keep running it. So it should make some money as a business.
To at least compensate for the cost that it takes to run it.
Of course,
It does cost money to run
Totally.
it. I'm going to use the bathroom, but we're going to edit it out.
Cool.
No, I'm not going to use it in here.
Oh.
Facebook, keep watching. We'll edit it out. But yeah, there's like a whole bunch of things I want to talk about.
Nice. Are we still live on Facebook?
Yeah, we're still live. You can talk to us.
Nice.
Yeah, like 10 people.
Let's see if we got any questions. Feel free to ask questions if you guys like. Also, if you could share this, that would be awesome. I'm going to come back and have a few more things to talk about, so stay tuned here. What is your one biggest piece of advice for scaling a company? Good question. For scaling a company, depends on the company. I think a lot of people do many things wrong when they are scaling. They look at it as they're not monitoring their results. So what they do is they dump a ton of money or effort or time into one specific channel of marketing, for example, and they're not monitoring. So what I do is I'll set up 10 different marketing channels, for example, and monitor the results of those individual channels and just have one slight difference in all of them. So like, let's say, for example, you have a sales page. You can change one little thing on each version. Have a red button, a green button, a different headline, and track those results. There's actually tools you can use. There's VWO is one of them, Visual Website Optimizer, and there's other split testing tools you can use. And you can track all those results. Just answering some questions. I'm gonna
Don't answer any questions. We don't need to know anything. You don't need to know anything that we're doing. You want a bathroom?
Yeah.
Cool. Yo, we're back live on Instagram. I'll take a few seconds to answer questions on Facebook as well. We just took some bathroom breaks. This is a live podcast, as you can see. Let's see. Recording the what's going on, people. Recording the Rich20 podcast live. Rich. What's going on? What's up? Podcast live. Okay. Yo, what's going on Instagram? Let's see, pin that comment. Good. What is up, my friends? Okay, I'm just gonna put this back here. I just dropped my phone. That's great. Awesome. All right. I'm going to take a few minutes to answer some questions. Brian went into the bathroom. We're going to answer questions while we're waiting on him. I'm answering them on Facebook, though. So if you guys aren't on my Facebook, you should check that out. Facebook.com/the Daniel DiPiazza page is the place to go. All right, let me answer some questions on the Facebooks. Let me see here. What types of questions do we have? Tyler says, how does someone build a website with crazy new features with just an idea without knowledge of how to code, just an idea, or how it might look? What do you mean crazy new features? I mean, they have this thing called WordPress, and it basically allows you to build a website without knowing how to code. I would start on WordPress. What's your biggest piece of advice for scaling a company? I think we talked about this earlier. I don't know what Brian would say. I'll have to ask him when he comes back, but I would say partnerships. I didn't start thinking about partnerships until this year. And I didn't realize that it could be really powerful for scaling because I can't do everything alone. So I would look for people you can partner with, and remember, just start with where you're at. Laura says, any tips for finding people on your level? Well, I mean, if you're on your level, you know other people on your level. You're already there. But start going to events, industry events, that you can meet people at. There's always going to be like Eventbrite, Meetup.com, all these different places. And hey, if you can't meet any business partners, maybe you'll get a date out of it. Who knows? Oh yeah. Put us back here. All right. Cool. We'll just finish up here. Now the key is you have to replace all the water you just let off with just like immediately. You just release everything. Now just drink this whole thing to replace it immediately.
Yeah. Well, most people don't drink enough water. It's someone was telling me you're supposed to drink 30 ounces in the morning right when you get up.
You're supposed to drink like a gallon a day.
Yeah.
Minimum. I drink a lot, but sometimes I reduce the amount I drink because I'm like, I'm sick of always going to the bathroom.
I know.
I know I'm supposed to drink more. Your pee should be clear.
Yeah.
I know. It should be like clear or very light yellow.
Totally.
Sometimes I'll take some vitamins. If you're taking some vitamins and it gets super dark yellow, and you're just like, what's wrong? Am I dying?
Yeah.
Well, like, what did I eat? I'm like, oh yeah, I had that.
The vitamins or whatever. Yeah.
But
or if you have like a protein bar or something with lots of vitamins in it, can have the same effect. I think eventually.
Totally. What are you doing right now? Like, what are you doing for fun?
I love traveling.
Where are you traveling to? You just came back from Florida, right?
Yeah, that was just to see family over Christmas for a few days. I'm going to Japan in February.
So cool. What are you going for?
So I'll tell you about something interesting. Everybody might like it as well. There's a thing called, I have no affiliation with these guys, I just know about it. It's called Scott's Cheap Flights. So Scott's Cheap Flights.
Scott, like Scott.
Scott.
The guy, Scott. Okay.
Yeah, Scott's Cheap Flights. And what he does is he finds error pricing. And
I've heard about this before.
Yeah, he finds error pricing and like crazy discounts. I got a deal from LA to Tokyo for $480 round trip. Round trip on Singapore Airlines, one of the best airlines in the world. Like he doesn't have business class and all that kind of stuff. But if you want to go, who cares, right? So if you want to go economically to crazy destinations, this guy's list is like error pricing. Like you have 2 days to book it. Like it's good. The price is going to go away. Like they made a mistake, or like it's a crazy deal that they don't advertise, like they're trying to fill up seats and kind of stuff like
Sometimes
that.
I get text messages from friends, like one or two friends in particular, who are always watching these things.
Yeah.
But I'm always just like, I don't want to go to Delhi, India right now.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's cool, but 150 flight to like Uzbekistan is not. Yeah. I don't care.
But this guy sends out a deal every day. A lot of stuff to Europe from LA. That's cool. All over the place.
Well, LA is a great place to be though.
Yeah. But other cities too, like Boston, New York, Atlanta.
The big ones.
All the big ones. San Francisco. So I like traveling. Also going to Australia in April and May.
Never been.
That's for my girlfriend's sister's wedding, but
destination weddings. I love those, man.
Yeah, travel around that country. We'll go to Sydney and Melbourne and stuff for
man, that's so cool.
A couple weeks. So
I need to introduce you to someone you need to meet. I don't introduce you to Everett. I'll introduce you to Nathan. Nathan's the publisher, the founder of. So weird. The founder of Founder.
Oh, I know Nathan. Yeah. Do you know Nathan? I'm gonna meet up with him when we're in Melbourne.
Did I talk to? I think we may have already talked about you. He's a good guy.
Yeah. Great guy. Yeah, he's got his new book out.
Yep, his new book out, and he's super interested. Where the fuck is my book, by the way? I ordered it. That's coming. He is really interested in also scaling Founder as well. So you guys would be good.
Yeah. We've already sort of been working on some stuff together.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Who else should you know? I don't know some other people in Australia, but so traveling. What else?
Traveling is great. I'm kind of a foodie too.
Should I learn how to cook this year? I think that could be one of my things.
Cooking's cool. I can cook. Maybe I'm lazy in that sense where I don't a lot. But I mean, I'm very conscious about what I eat. Like I don't eat red meat. But I eat pretty much everything else. But I've eliminated red meat so far as my first kind of step there.
Yeah.
More about the hormones than anything, because there's lots of weird
what
stuff.
about like organic, antibiotic free?
You can get that, yeah.
Free range.
It's just like if you go to restaurants and stuff, it's hard to get it.
Or you don't know what it is.
Or you don't know what it is. Yeah. But I love like discovering like new food. And everywhere I go, I'm always watching Anthony Bourdain's show. I'm like, that looks good. That looks good. So I'm like big into food. Like,
Anthony Bourdain is blue belt.
Is he?
Yeah.
Wow.
He just won.
In LA? He's training here?
Oh no.
Or no, he's in New York, isn't he?
He's in New York. Yeah, he's in New York.
Yeah.
He just won the Masters. Not like last year he won a Masters tournament.
Wow. Everyone's getting into jiu-jitsu.
I know. It's getting too passe.
It's commercialized now.
How did you get into it?
I grew up in a town in Western Massachusetts that was very Brazilian, more Portuguese actually.
There's the Brazilian side of Massachusetts.
No, but there's a town in my town in Massachusetts was like I was a minority in my town.
Good.
As a white boy.
Good. It's nice to feel like a minority once in a while.
Yeah,
right, Hugo?
And I was a minority, and there was lots of jiu-jitsu places. So I kind of saw it as a kid and saw people doing it and kind of tinkered with it a little bit. Didn't really get into it too much, but I was always in the back of my mind. Then UFC became popular.
Yeah, same.
And then I was like, I should probably,
I should
consider this. Yeah. So I eventually when I came to LA is when I did it before that, but I came to LA 7 years ago now, 6.5 years ago, something like that. And I got into it. There's an amazing, you have someone here too, but in the Valley area of LA, D'Artagnan Bagby. He's one of the first 12 jiu-jitsu black belts that are not Brazilian in the United States.
Oh, well, I know about those guys.
Dirty Dozen.
Yeah, Dirty Dozen. Yeah. There's also that one guy with the really crazy hair, the long hair dude. You know what I'm talking about? Like an old surfer dude.
Yeah.
There's a documentary on those guys.
Yeah. So he's one of those guys. Amazing guy, like a Yoda of jiu-jitsu. So I need to train more if he's watching. But
where do you train? Do you have like a home gym right now?
Yeah, I go to his gym. It's in North Hollywood.
Oh, okay. So
out of his place is when I train as much as possible. But
we'll find a time to train like later after the holiday.
You got to make it a habit. I found out, and even he was telling me that, it's easy to like working out, right? It's easy to make it not a habit.
Mm-hmm.
So you got
to make it not a habit.
Yeah. So you got to make it a habit. Set an appointment. Like you're going to be there at this time. You're going to go.
Yeah.
Do you do classes or private training or?
I do class. I mean,
classes,
I do both.
Yeah. I think both's good. Yeah.
I do both. I'm really close with my professor, and actually my professor Gustavo, I helped him launch his first few digital products, and they're crushing it.
Oh, awesome!
Because I'm so
that's amazing.
I'm so grateful to him.
Yeah,
I'm happy to have been able to help him.
Yeah.
I'll show you one of my videos later. Actually, I'll show you this. Nice. Right now. This is really funny. I wonder if we still have these on file here. Yeah. It's so cool. But yeah, for a while I was training 5 and 6 days a week.
Oh, nice.
And like I was doing 2 days, and then I found a couple things. One, I started to get hurt. I was training too much. And, And two, I realized it's better for me to go a consistent amount of times every day a week than try to go 5 days, burn out. It's better to let's say I can only get there twice a week.
Yeah.
Or once a week.
Yeah.
It's better to have gone than be off.
Gotcha.
First,
yeah, that makes sense.
Just to be like, I'm in the gym.
You sort of got it. It's fresh, sort of. Yeah, you're in the gym. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm back now at like 2 to 3 times a week.
Okay.
But it's been but I had to like make a deal with myself that I wasn't going to feel bad about the fact that I couldn't always get there, because I really take it very seriously. It's like one of those things. Take it very seriously.
Yeah, take it seriously. Yeah.
And I didn't want to like fail my my
goals or whatever.
I'm really committed to it. So let me see if I can find this promo video. Let me see. This is a really cool one that we did. I'm proud of it because it was the first time that we used a teleprompter.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, yeah. Let me see here. There's a number. I think there's a. If anyone who's looking at the back end of my computer right now on Facebook, we're just in my Wistia where we host our videos. Are these testimonial snippets? Let me see. Oh, that's nah. Let's see. Let's see. Type in Gustav. Let's see. Yeah. You might not be able to find it. Oh well, who cares?
That's all good. What kind of product?
He was doing a product on he has a couple. He has Ashigarami fundamentals for like leg locks, and then he has another one called Ace of Escapes. His big thing is that he he's a smaller guy. He's a lightweight, so he competes in the 160s.
Mm-hmm.
But then he'll purposely go to like Pan Ams and Worlds and big tournaments, and he'll go ultra heavy.
Oh,
And so he's like developed a lot of really cool systems for
like the open weight divisions and stuff.
the open weight
yeah,
divisions for like really for like crushing
See how
bigger
it works.
guys.
Yeah.
Or not crushing them, but avoiding getting crushed and submitting them.
Yeah, that's a cool thing about jiu-jitsu is you can be a smaller guy or a bigger guy or a slower guy or a faster guy, and you can still compete with others.
Yeah, it's all about your individual.
Yeah, sure. If you're
strength
300 pounds and
you're good.
and you're good versus 80 pounds and you're good, 300 pounds is probably
Usually.
gonna usually win. Not always.
Yeah, I mean,
but probably.
like if you both have similar levels of technique,
yeah.
and one person's just bigger and stronger and faster. Well,
Yeah. It's less of a difference than like UFC or MMA because I think with striking and stuff, it's just physics.
Yeah.
But like jiu-jitsu, I think is a little bit less physics.
Well, also with striking, like I feel like with jiu-jitsu, most cases, like 85% of the time, you can see what's coming. You know what's happening.
Yeah.
In striking, you can just get punched in the face or
yeah. If you don't see it and you're hitting the jaw, you're done.
You're just done.
Yeah.
And anybody can. Well, so speaking of that, what do you think is gonna happen with the Rousey fight tonight?
It's been off for a while.
It's been off for a while.
Yeah. I mean, I always think it's tough when you're off for a while.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of cases where people have been off for a while.
Cain Velasquez.
Yeah.
With Fabricio Verdun.
Yeah.
And Verdun, Verdun was the first guy I trained under.
Oh, cool.
And I mean, he's really good, but
yeah.
he also had the advantage of being in Mexico.
I think Verdun beat Fader back in the day,
Yeah.
which was like a huge upset, right?
Yeah, it was huge.
Yeah.
Because that was his.
Because he was like
he was defeated.
Yeah, that's right.
Everyone shits on Verdun.
Submission or was it a knockout? I can't remember.
I thought it was a submission.
I think it was a submission. Yeah.
I think it was a guillotine.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
It's
That's
usually
right.
a guillotine with Verdun.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it was. I think. Yeah.
everyone talks shit about Fabricio Verdun, and I don't think people look at him as one of the best of all time. But he's a good heavyweight. He's a really good heavyweight. He's a great heavyweight.
Yeah. Totally. Absolutely. Especially like where. Yeah, I definitely agree.
It's just that with heavyweights, we want to see the Mike Tysons. We want to see like the big flamboyant, gregarious. Like we want to see Conor McGregor in a heavyweight.
Yeah.
Because heavyweights are the biggest, baddest dudes.
Totally.
And so sometimes we don't like guys who like are not very. Fabricio just has this like he does his weird smile thing, and then he he's not as exciting as Conor.
Yeah. Heavyweights kind of looks like a WWE or something because you're like, oh, these two
Except
monsters are
really
gonna,
Like Brock Lesnar, everyone's like, oh my God, Brock Lesnar, because he's crazy. He looks insane.
Oh yeah.
How do you like how when his last fight with Mark Hunt, where he destroyed him?
Yeah.
And there was this whole thing. They're like, okay, Brock Lesnar's been off for a while.
Yeah.
And, is he juicing? And Brock's like, how dare you ask me that? And then like 2 days after the fight, he came back positive, and he was he obviously he already got his money.
Yeah.
But before the fight, he was like, you guys are just jealous because you've never seen a jacked white boy before. And I'm like, you obviously.
I mean, I don't get it. It's like I don't understand why people don't realize that all these guys are juicing because it's like bodybuilders. It's like they're all juicing.
I mean, and it's not
unless in some exceptions there, but most of the time, the big guys,
100% of pro bodybuilders and the IFBB are juicing
or doing something.
You can't be a top competitor if you don't.
Right.
With MMA, I think it's a little. I don't know. I think a lot of people are juicing, but I think some people aren't. I don't think Conor is.
No, not everybody.
I think Conor is fucking legit.
Probably not. He doesn't look like he is.
No, because he doesn't always look his best.
Yeah.
Or like when he went up.
Even physically, he doesn't look like he's such an Adonis.
Like a wiry dude.
Yeah, you could tell with guys when they're juicing because it's like you're just so perfectly developed.
Yeah,
it's like
thick everywhere.
Yeah.
So like, what about John Jones? Because this is a whole thing.
Yeah, because he didn't look like it either.
Did you hear what he said on the Rogan podcast?
No.
He said that it was like gas station dick pills, basically. I don't know. Everyone says that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's weird, but I don't have like a moral thing against juicing.
No. I mean,
only if it's their rules.
Right. It's like if you're driving a NASCAR, you need the turbo on your car or whatever, right? So, or supercharger or whatever. So you have to have it to compete. So I get it. If you're in that field, you have to do it. Would I do it? No, but it's part of the turf. Yeah. It's like it's just part of it.
we had a couple questions, and we'll start to crystallize some of this.
Yeah.
One of the questions that we got, and I think I would like to know this, and I think the audience would too. What are some of your like best ideas or insights for getting traffic to a website quickly, from the beginner's point, and then for someone who's a little bit more established?
I think the first thing is respecting the audience you have now, and everybody has an audience.
Right.
Okay. So people don't realize your Facebook friends, your family, there's 1,000 true fans principle, right? You know this. So I think that it's really about building those first diehard followers, and then that helps carry it very far. And if you have something like a platform like Influencive, you have your contributors, and guess what? Each one of those has their family and friends.
Yeah.
So
they become super fans because they write for you.
Yes, exactly. So you've got your super fans. That's a good way to put it. And that helps you build your first true 1,000 fans. If anybody doesn't know what that is, 1,000 true fans. Basically, the principle is if you've got that 1,000 diehard, hardcore followers that promote and share everything you ever do, you can build that into just about any size audience.
Well, and that's
carry your business.
And that's 100% true. That was coined by Kevin Kelly, who's the editor at Wired.
Yes, yes.
And he's a brilliant guy. I really like his stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what's carried our business. We have on our email lists, we have right now like 140, 150,000, but 10,000 of those people read the most of our stuff.
Yep, yep.
And a smaller percentage of those people end up buying, but it supports the whole business. It's a seven-figure business, it supports the whole thing.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah. So I think those super fans are massively important when you're just starting building anything. Mm-hmm. And I think people always look externally. It's the same principle we were talking about before. People look externally. Where am I going to find my fans? You already have half of them right there.
Yeah, yeah.
People have, it comes down to talking to people about it too, and individually even in the beginning. I went to so many people individually, and I was like, hey, I've got this article on this site. You know, if you could share it somewhere, that'd be awesome.
Talk to a person? You actually spent time?
Yeah, and you have to cash in some of your sort of equity there with your relationships and say, hey, do you mind? Would you share it? I would really appreciate it. And being appreciative of asking people to help you expand your business and share things, I think is important too, because you don't want to come off like somebody that's, trying to make money off of all your connections and stuff. But it's okay, I think, to ask them from a respectable standpoint of, hey, would you mind? I have this new article out. I'm trying to build this business. Yeah. Could you help me? Could you share it? I think ask the people around you, and you'll be surprised how far just that alone will carry it. People get into like, oh, I need to spend money on ads and get into all this stuff. And yeah, you will get there. You have to get there eventually, probably with most businesses. But just starting from that sort of grassroots standpoint can get you very far. And the reason I'm emphasizing it is it works. Like I've done it. And especially if you're building something where you have other people that are contributing content in some capacity, whether it's they're doing some videos for you or writing articles or whatever your business is, tap those people and say, hey, let's build this together. How can we work together on creating something? So I think using that audience around you is one of the first steps.
I mean, you're totally right. And I did this, and I didn't even realize I was doing it. Like I did it the way you described it in the beginning, like early days, first maybe 18 months of Rich20. I would encourage people to leave comments on the blog, which a lot of people don't, but I would obviously answer every email. Yeah. I would ask them to leave the comment on the blog. And then I would respond to the comments on the blog with like videos.
Yeah.
And to build that relationship. And a lot of those people that I talked to in the early days with video are still
around hardcore. Yep.
And they're friends now.
Yep.
And that's like it's super simple. People are like, no, give me the real hacks though. Okay, go on Pinterest and type in this code. There's no Yeah, but also too, I think one other step you have to take is you have to remove the ego, because what happens to me, I have this happen a lot. People say to me like, I think he was on your podcast, Jared Kleinart, and he said to me, so just different example. Jared too?
Yeah.
Man.
So he said to me, hey,
there's like 10 people that did it.
Yeah. So he said to me, hey, why? I see you respond to like just about everybody on Twitter or somebody does from your team. Why don't you say, hey, are you on my email list too? So I made that small adjustment and I got results.
Very smart.
So the thing there is, it's okay. I take advice from a lot of different people and I test it out. Doesn't mean I'm going to follow it forever, but it means that I don't have a big enough ego where I'm going to say, no, I know everything. I don't care about your strategies. I'll ask people, I'll say, what am I doing wrong on Facebook? And they say, well, you have a huge Facebook. Why are you asking me that question? I'm just curious what you think. And sometimes they'll tell me something that I'd never thought about in that perspective, and it'll help me increase something. So I ask a lot of questions to people that don't think about it like you need to find someone better than you to ask and consult with and talk to. If you have a friend that's doing something very similar to whatever you're doing, or just people around your peers, ask a lot of questions. Say, okay, I'm building this business. I'm selling, basketball cards on eBay. What am I doing? What do you like about it? What don't you like about it? Ask a lot of questions to different people. Yep. It's almost like polling your audience, but just polling people around you. And if you act on some of those things, and then you'll notice a theme. You'll say, oh, everybody thinks that my graphics aren't very good, or my design's not very good. I should change it. So just getting feedback from people around you, and that sounds like a basic step, but most people don't do it.
Totally.
They don't do it.
Totally.
They don't even ask. They don't ask. They just assume it's going good. Their ego. They love their design on their site. They say, no, my logo is
great. The design is
great.
not for you. It's for the people.
Yeah.
It's not for you.
Yeah. So I do that all the time. I'll tell people, I'll pull up Influencive or something and say, what do you guys not like about it? Or what do you like about it? Or what do you think of this article? What do you think of that writer? What do you think of this?
People always know what they don't like.
Yeah.
What they do like, they say it's pretty good. What they don't like, this.
Yeah. But it's good because once one person saying it's one thing, but like 10 is another thing.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, there's a theme here. People don't like that color, or they don't like that guy, or they don't
one
like...
person might be just their personal opinion, but if you keep getting the same same type of answers, this should change.
Yes. So that's something I use all the time. I talk to just even people that are not qualified to give you an answer.
Yeah.
Sometimes I will get good feedback from. I'll have people that'll come to me and say, I heard about your mastermind on Instagram. How much is it going to be? I don't have a mastermind on Instagram, but it's like, that's an interesting idea. People think I'm doing a mastermind on Instagram. Maybe I'll do a mastermind on Instagram. So it's weird how perception is, and you have to talk to people to get the perception.
Yeah.
You have to see what they're thinking. You have to see how they're experiencing it. And I think this goes into communication, because we all have our own frame. I have my frame, and as much as I think I understand you, I don't really understand you as well as you understand you.
Yeah.
And you don't understand me as well as I understand me. So it's sometimes you have to talk and ask questions to really get it and to really make it crystal clear.
Yeah, and I think like coming with the beginner's mindset, and also with this is an experiment, like let's see what happens mindset.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to experiment.
Yeah.
And you have to be willing to just completely fall on your face in front of the people that you've already told that you're going to do. So that's why you said we're going to have 10 million uniques a month. Mm-hmm. We're going to be doing a million on Facebook. How many followers? And a third ambiguous goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where can people go to find out more about what you're doing and how to keep up with you?
I think influencive.com is...
How you spell it? We're going to put it in the show notes, but...
influenceve.com. And then to follow me personally, Brian D. Evans on Twitter is probably the best way to find me.
Cool, man. This is like, I could go for longer because I want to keep talking about our stuff, but thank you for being on here, man. I appreciate it.
Awesome, man. I appreciate being here.
Boom.
Cool.
Thanks,
man.
All right, guys. We will, let's see. We'll run this thing for a good minute here. Let me see.